Welcome back to the show. There's a saying that not all heroes wear capes. In this situation, a boyfriend was a hero. Um, Two women stumbled upon a domestic violence dispute. Personally, I don't believe in getting involved between relationship issues because I've done it in the past and it was a horrible mistake. I remember I pulled into my apartment complex long time ago back in San Jose, California, and I seen a man literally beating the brakes off of his girlfriend. And like an idiot, I played Captain Save him. I jumped out of the car, ran over there, punched the guy, got him off her. She's bleeding, snot everywhere. He's on the ground. He's like yelling, like, "Dude, let her go, let her go." And I'm like, "Let her go, bro. I'm helping her up. You're beating her to a pulp." And anyway, I help her up her stairs, and we're neighbors in the building. So I go to my unit. And not even a week later, when I'm coming home, I see the same guy punched out and her, the girl that was beat up, holding hands, walking up the stairs. And then that's when I started to realize that sometimes maybe we just don't understand the dynamics of certain relationships, and maybe we're not supposed to. And it's none of our business. But in other situations, if you go from jumping on your girlfriend to now assaulting somebody else's, well, then in that case, you put yourself in the fuck around and find out category. Let's take a listen.
Investigating a shooting that happened after an alleged domestic assault in southeast Houston overnight. Houston police say a man in his 20s was assaulting his girlfriend in a parking lot on Calhoun Road when two other women stepped in and they were also attacked. Officers say one of those women's boyfriends then shot the man. The victim is in the hospital but is expected to survive.
Now, unlike other states, the other thing you did not hear the reporter say is that the boyfriend that came in and shot the guy, that he's been arrested and he's being charged with, aggravated with attempted murder. He will not be charged, even though they were outside. This is Texas. See, we all have to deal with a common threat, no matter where you are in the United States. We'll refer to that threat as the 13%. Even the 13% have to be afraid and worried about the 13%. You can't legally bar the 13% from living close to you because of redlining and other safeguards. So there's integration. So it's dangerous no matter where you are due to proximity to the 13. In Texas, because we understand that threat, our laws are different. You're allowed to protect yourself against the 13. If the 13 are breaking into your neighbor's house, you can go out there and you can defend your neighbor's property as well as yourself, as well as others. We don't have the 13 with continuous issues with squatters because, well, if you're invading my home and I say, hey, you got to leave and you don't, we have castle doctrine similar to Florida. Therefore, you're not going to see everyone who defends themselves or defends others being threatened with going to prison or having to worry about sitting in jail until a jury exonerates them in 2 to 3 years. See, the way it works in Texas is the way it was designed to work in the entire republic. You are supposed to be armed because you are your first line of defense. This whole thing where we lean on law enforcement and the police to come and save us as if they are superheroes is asinine. It's backwards, and it's unsustainable long term. If someone is breaking into your house, now they're in your house. Now they're going room to room looking for you, and you're hiding under a bed. Do you want to be sitting there with a cell phone in your hand in a closet calling the police for help? Or do you want to be sitting somewhere holding a shotgun, prepared for them to open the door and you give them hell? See, one is the law of the land in blue states. You have to wait for the police to come. And if they show up too late, then c'est la vie. And your family's going to have to bury you. All because the laws prevented you from being aggressive and they're anti-weapons, anti-guns. And you got to look at the people who are behind making sure we don't have weapons. It's typically politicians that are a part of the 13%. And they are typically the ones who are, if you look at the FBI statistics, the ones with the highest odds of doing the home invasions and robbing you in the first place. So It's like they have their politicians from their group that are advocating for you being disarmed so that you can become a victim of their group. In Texas, we understand that dynamic. My speech is not popular because I talk about things openly we're not supposed to. So a lot of people won't share my videos. They won't, subscribe to the page. Some people will, some people won't. But that's the truth of the matter. That's why we need guns. Because of the 13. That's the reason we need law enforcement. If there was no 13, you wouldn't really need to arm yourself. There wouldn't be much of a need for police if you look around, according to the FBI statistics, of course. Therefore, that's the reason why Texas is such a wonderful place to live, because I live in Houston. The 13 are in close proximity, but they're not like the 13 in California or these other or Chicago or Detroit. It's different here because everyone knows that you're armed and they can't just get away with anything. So it demands a level of a level of respect, but it puts fear inside of people because it's the unknown. If you're looking for a victim in California, odds are they're going to be unarmed in their car, in their home. So your odds of survival are a lot higher. Those odds diminish when you're making an attempt on someone in Texas. Because again, we give out trophies to people who stand up and shoot criminals. We don't send them to jail. I remember famously there was a restaurant that's on video being robbed, and like 3 people in the restaurant, when the robber was back was turned, they stood up and shot him. And 2 of the people left without saying anything. And the police were like, well, we need to talk to those people because their shots didn't kill them, and we want to give them free classes for training so that way the next time they have to do this, the person doesn't survive. It costs too much money to pay for the medical expenses of criminals and putting them in jail when you can just end it right there. We have very strict policies. We're very, very American in Texas, which is why it makes it a better place to live. That's why I relocated to Texas and made it my home. The laws were more sensible, and it gives you a fighting chance against the 13. Look at Minnesota right now. Armed 13% members are threatening to go after ICE and other federal agents openly. And people are afraid to do anything against them because of the protests that could erupt, George Floyd-ish. And that's terrorism. The fact that police have to second guess policing. Agents are afraid to do their jobs. Politicians are afraid to call out criminality because they're afraid of the backlash, which would be for a political gain, which fits the exact terminology, the exact definition of what the word terrorism means. In Texas, we don't have those issues. You're not going to see ICE riots and mass protests and property destruction because the 13 understand that it's not going to go in your favor here in Texas, which is good for society as a whole. So again, this was someone who, and there were witnesses.
Say he was beating on his girl or something like that. The other dude came. I just made it over here. That's why I don't come over here no more. I ain't no good.
A man is in the hospital after he was shot while assaulting 3 women at Wesley Square Apartments in southeast Houston. Police say he was originally assaulting his girlfriend when 2 other women intervened. The man then started to assault them before one of their boyfriends stepped in and shot him.
Stop your hands on girls.
Well, again, the boyfriend is not going to be arrested. He's not going to be investigated. The investigation has already been concluded. And the guy that's in the hospital, that might be punishment enough for him, but he could be brought up on assault charges. But it's up to law enforcement. But I've seen in these situations, the police, it's kind of a he say, she say situation. But if everybody can agree that he was shot because he assaulted another man's girlfriend, well, then you're exonerated. There is not going to be all drug out, a bunch of cases. You got to pay for a lawyer like you would on the West Coast or on the East Coast. A completely different set of laws. We're way more constitutional, way more American in Texas than in other states. So you have Texas, you have Florida, you have Tennessee, where Americans can still live in America. The rest of the country has been compromised. Hopefully we can bring them back under our federal umbrella. United we stand. So hopefully we can reunite the country as a whole. So yeah, let this be a learning lesson. Don't attack other people and prepare to be in a hospital or worse if you decide that you want to mess with Texas. So this was just a short video. I'll be back on another topic shortly. Remember, America first and America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.